And let's get into it. It's up left here. As the blue Protoss, it is Haas. And in the bottom right, representing Germany and Clash, the red Zerg. This is Lambo.
Not quite in sync with it.
We're not quite in sync with the Russian cast here. We're going full season 1 GSL 2010 right now.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Just like Tasteless took some time.
Took a little while, but as we can see, things are getting interesting already.
Yeah, I had a quick chat with Lambo before the series, and I think the unpredictability of how Haas can play at times was one of his biggest worries, of course, here. And he actually goes for the hatchery. It's almost as if Haas knew all along that was going to happen. Lambo goes for a hatchery, not on his natural, but further away, and has already as a gateway going up there. This is absolute insanity.
This actually might be Haas reading Lambo here, because this is actually a strategy that sort of did against Haas as well, where he took his third blindly without going to his natural, knowing that the probe would be early, or at least assuming that the probe would be early to harass his natural base. Haas getting this gateway and this forge here, he is looking to cannon rush and end this expansion, whether it be in the third base location or the natural.
And now this is somewhat a regular scout, that one probe as well. So he's like, oh, everything's normal. You know, he's trying to show, or trying to convince Lambo that, there is nothing special happening right now, except, well, that the third base is going to be in danger imminently. He starts a pylon on the natural as well, almost as to make Lambo kind of worry about it, maybe overreact. He's sending a drone there.
Yeah, just Lambo trying to sort of deny a little bit of area here for Haas with that drone. And the Zealot's just running straight past that third base. He wants to go for greener pastures here. Lambo looking to drone drill against those cannons, but with that Zealot being there, that is a tough ask here for Lambo to actually stop these cannons from getting up. And Haas has got the wall up here between the natural and the main base, or I guess the natural at the third. This is actually a disastrous start for Lambo.
And he didn't cannon that base here, interestingly enough. So it's just going to be a blockade. I don't know what to do. Is it blockade the right word?
Yeah, just like a bit of a contain.
Yeah, like, around the natural base where...
You're getting your wish, sir.
From game number 1 already. The madness is in full effect.
That's right.
Yeah, Haas is making sure that Lambo cannot rally anything from the main base to that third hatchery. Now we've got a roach run on the way. A lair as well. Lambo already thinking about going into something like a Nidus, maybe Roach Ravager, maybe Quince. I mean, he's kind of being forced into this right now.
I mean, yeah, we've been paying attention to Haas and what Haas has been doing to Lambo, but Lambo's follow-up here is double gas on one base, fast lair, roaches are on the way. He's also getting link speed. We're seeing the third base die there, or rather the natural at the third base location getting taken down. And Lambo doing a bit of damage here on the front line, forcing some damage on one of the gateways at the front line for Haas. But with that cannon, it does shoo him away.
I'm surprised he's getting link speed. It feels like it should just be, Queens and Roaches and then a Nidus.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the gas is going into speed and onto that Nidus, like you said.
Okay, but keep in mind, there is one single overlord across the map, and right now it's around the natural of Haas. So it's not like he can throw down a Nidus in the main base. There is no overlord near the area. So if you had to make a Nidus, it would be there, and most likely Haas might be able to see it. I mean, Haas right now, he knows that there is no second hatchery on the natural location. He killed the other one, so it's pretty easy to put 2+2 here and know that the Zerg is very likely to either make a ton of roaches and try and break out at the natural, or do something like a Nidus. That's why he's not expanding. That's so smart of him.
Yeah. Either way, a robotics facility is very, very important here. The Immortal really does knock down whether Nidus worms or roaches, and also having shield batteries, which Haas, as I say that, does start up in the natural. He needs a defensive bastion here. Whether the Nidus comes up in the main base or in the natural, he needs a place that he can retreat to, heal up his units, and stand and fight again against whatever Lambo's got planned. The Shade comes forward, and he's going to lose these adepts, but guarantees here that he does have to deal with a Nidus worm. So Haas immediately starts that Immortal, pulls probes out of the main base. Where are they headed? Just here to join all the forces together for one big last stand by the looks of things.
Yeah, the Immortal is almost out there. Haas choosing not to take the fight too early. He's waiting for that one Immortal here to really help with this. He's not mining at all right now. Lambo found a way to maybe salvage this situation here and go for the win.
Ooh, Immortal cracked that Hardened Shield, is getting damaged here a little bit, but these probes need to start getting to work if he wants to start turning and fighting here against these roaches, but it looks like there's just too many units. Immortal gets body blocked a little bit there by his own probes, but the shield batteries do finish, so this Immortal can stand and fight again. It feels confidence to get up against that Zerg army, and he just has to try and pick off whatever he can. I mean, the hit points of these Queens and Roaches and Ravages and pull back the shield batteries whenever he gets a little bit low. These probes still not mining.
Yeah, that one Immortal is the one precious here of Haz. He has to keep that alive at any cost. The probes are only here to protect. He's going to mirror walk these probes to jump on top of these roaches.
Immortal, what? Oh, that was Haz's chance to hold on here, and with it gone, so does game one go in Lambo's favor. GG. The German Zerg fights cheese with cheese.
Don't you ever proxy me.
Don't you cheese me. And he got there. Great counterplay. I mean, there's a couple choices when you're a Zerg and you're up against something like that. I mean, yes, that's a pure Haas contain. You don't see regular Protosses go for something like that. Generally, it's a cannon rush and it's something else back at home. But Haas very, very committed on the other side. The Roach Nidus sort of response there from Lambo, inspired. Even if you go like Stargate or a Void Ray or something like that, whatever choice it is as a Protoss, you're going to find it so tough to hold a whole bunch of Queens and Roaches on the other side of the map with the Nidus Worm.
I think maybe he should have opened up his wall back at home. Like, obviously, there are links trying to go in, but remember, he had 3 Zealots, right? Or like he had a bunch of units on the other side of the map that killed the hatchery, and then maybe tried to go into the main. I feel like if he had that inside of his main base, that would have been so helpful. And maybe he overmade probes as well. He didn't need to be mining that much gas. Like, if he had somehow got into a second Immortal, kiting and killing this entire army of Lambo would have been so much easier, and then you just win the game.
Yeah.
So looks like he wanted to play with fire.
And he got burned.
He burnt Lambo a little bit at first, but then Lambo took out the non-flamethrower.
The non-flamethrower?
Not a flamethrower.
No.
You know what that's?
No.
The Elon Musk.
Oh,
the not a flamethrower.
No, now I'm with you. Now I'm with you. The not a flamethrower that's actually a flamethrower. Well, we're going into map number 2 here. I'm not too sure what map it is. Oh, it's year 0. All right. So nice big map here between both players. Now, normally when you have a big map like this, you kind of expect a longer game. But considering the players that we have in this tournament, and on the stage right now, this looks like it might actually be playing against the map's image here, and he might just use it to try and quote-unquote surprise Lambo, although I don't think it's a surprise for Haas to try and put something on the other side of the map.
Yeah, yesterday Haas didn't even scout early at all versus Soltov in both games. He scouted very late, didn't play ultra-aggressive. Played somewhat normal for the most part, but today, he's back to his old self, Maynard.
That's right. All right, in the top left here. This is Chinese Taipei's Protoss in the blue. This is Haas. I only needed 1 game, guys. That's how good I am.
Wait, let's see. Because last time it took a long time for the second one.
Okay, I got this. In the top right from Clash, the Red Zerg. This is Lambo. God damn it, Alex.
Yeah, for the second one, they take way longer.
he wanted to give out Lambo's entire history as a pro gamer before he introduced the player. Making me look bad, man. God.
He was born in West Germany.
Fighting. One day he was 6,000 MMR, then he was 6.2, then he was 6.5. Like, all right. Shout out to Alex, by the way. Lovely guy, and buy his announcer pack in the game, Alex007.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
White Rice casting as well, actually.
Yeah.
This event. This is pretty cool.
That's right.
We had a chat with him. He was like, I asked him, like, so what games are you going to cast and stuff? He's like, oh, no, I just make one request. I only cast Protoss games. Good old White Ra. All right, has nothing too crazy here happening just yet. I mean, on this map, proxying would be a little crazy considering the rush distance was just a gateway. He did scout pretty early, which again didn't happen yesterday when he played against Soltov. It was always a super delayed scout after Nexus and Cybercore. So he can exactly check what Lambo is going for here. Maybe he'll react to that. Maybe he's got, plans depending on what he sees, but out of Lambo, it's always going to be, fairly standard. A big question up against somebody like Haz as well, who sometimes takes risks and does, very aggressive builds is, can you sometimes, ling rush or take a big risk yourself, which would be very high risk, high rewards, completely hit or miss, basically, if you were to choose and do something like that. And so far, Lambo hasn't opted for any of these. Maybe if he goes up 2-0, again, it's the best of 5, so then he would have a lot of room to try and force stuff like this.
Well, it's keeping Haas on us at the moment here with the Overlord, going for his scouting information, sending his first bit of actual fast units across the map and then bringing them home handily. Just looks like a pretty regular opening here for Haas, just adept in a Stargate. The Stargate is also at home. So it looks like a pretty standard opening for Haas, which is a weird sentence.
Yeah, for now. Let's just say for now, because things could change very quickly. Like, again, he was one of the first few Protosses to make Master Oracle look extremely strong. You never really knew when he was transitioned, and for the most part, he never really transitioned. Like, I remember these games where he had like 30 Oracles. So anything's possible here out of this guy. And what he's really a master of is tricking his opponent. I feel like sometimes we kind of talk about him as if he has one build, he goes for it and he just sticks to it. But no, it's not like that at all. He knows how to transition out of almost anything. He's a very good mind reader. It feels like a lot of the time he knows what his opponent are gonna do to react to what he's doing, and then he adapts to it.
Wasn't tapped into Lambo's brainwaves for a second there. Lets Ling get into the main base to see exactly what he's up against.
No, he wanted that to happen.
Oh, that's true. He never makes
Now
mistakes.
we move on to phase 2 of the plan.
And unfortunately for Lambo, there are generally 9 to 10 phases in the plan for Haas.
Yeah.
Well, the Adept shading on forward here. They do cancel that shade. Pleased to see that. Way too many Lings. Haas knows this. It's actually bringing them back. Okay.
I think, yeah, he realized there was speed. So he was like, well, it's a big map. There's almost no escape.
Fair enough.
With my Adepts, so I'll just keep them alive for now. Just recalls instead.
Yeah, not a terrible play there for Haas. And Lambo, with that third base getting up, still clean production coming down. He knows the timings here of those Oracles, and the Spores are going to be up in a timely fashion. Plenty of time on year 0 for him to get that static defense up in the Zerg's base. And Haas is looking like he wants to go for potentially an Archon drop here. Twilight Council and a Robotics Facility going down back at home. Phoenix and Oracle together to lift up the Queen and try and hit the drone line. Just frighteningly standard here for Haas, although a little bit of an old school build.
Yeah. Even like glaives or something like that on this map could be really good. We see additional gateways being thrown down now. And the Oracle and Phoenix so far haven't really found any damage. Crit spread is good so far too from Lambo, who's running around with Queens, making sure he's ready to be in position. And
where are you going, little fella?
Is that a miss rally?
Oh well, is it? Oh, the Lings are coming in here. The Adepts getting shutting down the Lings. It probably is. I mean, someone has this selected. I think Indy maybe. Like it's being rallied out to the front here. It just gets gunned down by the Oracle. Okay, its story has ended. So I'm glad we paid attention to that drone there.
That hype train derailed real fast.
That hype train had a tank on it. Shot the train off those rails. But we have a bunch of gateways going down here on 2 bases for Haas. He's putting down a third, but I don't know if this is real. So this is another one of the situations where I think Haas might be trying to trick his opponent. He did something similar against Soldov, where he just went for a lot of charge lots, some Archons, and a Warp Prism across the map. How many gateways is he on now?
I think he's got around
a bunch
7.
Oh, it's actually not too...
Yeah, 7.
Yeah, okay. So
total.
It's not definitely one of those like big timing attacks, but it is quite a few gateways worth of production.
Yeah. I mean, if Zerg underestimates this, they just
you can
die.
just start warping in and just overwhelm for sure.
So in this case, Lambo is just getting a ton of roaches. Right now, he's got clear reconstitution on the way. Queen's in position already. I mean, he knows that's going to be headed towards the main base. And charge is nearing incompletion. And has cut pro production right now.
Yeah, which is why I thought he was going for a big timing attack. Like, using that mineral bank to squeeze out a bunch of units, get some more Archons out there. Lambo is just making roaches right now, so even if Haas is planning to start probing soon and try and go into a macro game, Lambo could actually just go across the map with this many units if he just doesn't just use it defensively here. It looks like the Zerg's going to be pretty set up here. He's already up a lot of army supply, and he's ready for this Warp Prism, which he scouted earlier.
Yeah, has restarts pro production, but it's only 2 at a time right now.
And Haas is probing again, so just sort of a lull in the macro there for Haas. Is a weird probe cycle, but in comes that Warp Prism into the main base. Couple Queens, or a few Queens and a Spore Crawler. Oh, jeez! All right, that gets back there. A second Warp Prism down here at the front. No Ravagers or Queens down here, so that Warp Prism will get in a good round of charge lots. But look at the Roach count, Todd.
Yeah,
way too many Zerg units.
The main base is where damage could be achieved. Now, no, the Prism!
Oh, no! Oh.
Not like this.
Not like this.
And he might be forced to recall down there. Ah, he's going to run away with the Zealots because they're fast and still try to harass a little bit more with the Prism. At this point, having killed that one War Prism, Lambo could just go for the counter-attack. And look at the supply. Maynard, he's got so much more. 107 army supply to 43 right now.
Yeah.
In Lambo's favor, and these Zealots are getting caught down on the map.
Yeah, like I said, with this many roaches, Lambo can just go across the map if there's no huge scary attack coming, and there was. It just kind of felt flat there, a little bit of a flaccid attack for Haas. Lambo going across the map with 123 army supply worth of roaches. Well, some of that is Queens, but mainly roaches and Ravagers coming across the map here, and Haas is just trying to muster up whatever he can. He's only got 1 Robo, a second one's about to finish. He doesn't have any upgrades. He can warp in a bunch of charge lots, but I just don't think he can stop Lambo here. That's just so much Zerg.
Yeah, there's a ton of roaches. I think Lambo's going to wait for the reinforcements to get there, regroup a little bit. That one Immortal. Force fields are going to have to be clean here. There's only 2 Ravagers to break some of those.
Oh, man. Ravages broke those force fields and he's right in Haas's face. Lambo looking to get himself onto match point already here. As he takes down all the defenses, that Immortal's got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. The mana hatchery attempt from Lambo, but Haas doesn't get to see it. GG! The German Zerg starting to get a little bit stylish on the stage here.
Very nicely done by Lambo here. Clean defense and, you know, a pretty difficult map to be as aggressive, I feel, as Haz would like to be here. It takes a long time to get across the map. Zerg has a lot of tools to see those attacks coming. Overload, Zerglings everywhere, the watchtower in the center. And Lambo, he realized exactly what's coming. Cut drones early enough, made a ton of roaches, defended perfectly, and then the clean counter attack that you would expect from a player of his caliber.
Yeah, Lambo, whatever hiccups he had in his play in his group stage 3 against Probe, certainly not showing off on stage here. He looks quite flawless, actually. I'm seeing very few mistakes from Lambo. Haas has had a couple contains and then a couple strategies that just sort of bungled a little bit, maybe like a little bit of lack of control, or just Lambo reading him way too well and being super prepared. A little bit of column A and B. Either way, it's led with Lambo having a very clean series so far on match point, and it's looking like a 3-0 already if game 1 and 2 are anything to go by.
Yeah. We shouldn't count Haz out just yet, though.
Don't count our Hazes until he's warped in everything he wants to warp in in this tournament.
He doesn't pull rabbits out of hats. He pulls DTs out of war prisms and takes games away from his opponents.
That's right. The greatest magic trick of all. Imagine if, as a magic artist on stage, you could pull a rabbit out of a hat at 7 range. Wouldn't that be great? Just like a war prism?
That would instantly make you the greatest magician this world has ever seen.
Just the rabbit zaps out of the hat into your hand. Actually sounds kind of terrifying. I'm not sure I want to pay for a ticket for that now that I think about it. I'm convincing myself not to do that. Look at this crowd, man. Great showing here for the Ukrainian fans or the Kiev local Starcraft fans, and also fans from internationally coming on down. This tournament sold out really quickly, actually, for tickets. So that was a great thing to read on social media early before their flights. Great crowd, great games, and we are in game number 3, guys. The top left here, the blue Protoss. This is your cheese lord, Haas.
This might be your final attempt, so not too fast.
No, I haven't had a flawless victory yet. On the far right of Automaton, the red Zerg, he is Clash's Lambo. Alex again.
You know, he goes for the very long second one.
Yeah, always the second one. Got to delay that second intro there. I'm starting to learn the build. It's all right.
You need to throw in some random facts in there.
Yeah, I mean,
his name Julian Brody.
It's German Zerg. He's 6'1".
He prefers his eggs sunny side up.
I've never bought him breakfast, but if I would, I'd be setting up eggs. Black coffee. This is Lambo. All right, I'm ready. I'm all set for the next time Lambo plays on stage. I'm good.
Well, we're going to have to have another map for that, hopefully, so we can get another attempt. But yeah, has no quick scouts. Nothing too crazy here early on. Just going to be a gateway down the ramp, Nexus, Cybercore, then a scout. And Lambo all alike went for the hatchery, then extractor into a spawning pool.
Is that Nexus first from Haas? The Madman.
No. He went for the gateway first.
Nexus. Oh, sorry. But actually, what I misspoke there was Nexus before Cybercore. So just a little bit more economy focus for Haas at the start.
I feel like Haz is maybe a little bit hesitant nowadays. Like, he doesn't go for like the all-out cheeses. I don't know what it is. You know, it feels like once upon a time he had great killer instinct. He was just playing like ultra aggressive, throwing his opponents off all the time. Obviously, it's very hard to do very often, and like people will adjust, and then they'll kind of learn about your trick and shenanigans. But in this case, definitely he hasn't felt that aggressive. Even like in the previous game, like we weren't sure whether he was gonna saturate at third base. He still kind of remade probes midway, like a little bit of hesitation.
Yeah. The Year Zero game was definitely the weirdest one. Even though game 1 looked a little bit more, with Lambo getting caught out by a contain. Yeah. Pretty quick Twilight Council here from Haas, with the robotics facility coming a little bit later. So a bit of a different build from the first game. So that started off with a Stargate into Twilight Council and Robo with the Archon drop. Haas still using Shades to try and get a bit of vision on Lambo, who is going for a pretty quick third base.
A Dark Shrine? Should we start soon if you want to go for that?
There's also the chance for going for there's the Dark Shrine, so you're right, but some other things you can do, like charge like Prism, that sort of thing. But the Adept is getting gunned down. She's very low on hit points. pick off there for Lambo, so that's actually quite nice.
Yeah, and we're going to see Has throw down another gateway here. And usually you either go up to 3 or 4. I think 4 is better, obviously, because then you can make 4 Dark Templars into 2 Archons. But we saw Has previously against Sortov in that game number 1 yesterday go for the main hatchery and actually sniping it.
Yeah.
Which is, like, it's very unexpected. Nowadays, everybody, they go for double Archon. But Has was like, you know what? If everybody goes for double Archon, he won't expect Dark Templars. And sure enough, Sortov didn't, so he got his main hatchery.
Yeah, it feels like it's always worth to poke with the Dark Templar first before making them into Archons, because you could always catch a Spore Crawler, get some drones, that sort of thing, and then the Archon phase engages. But, I mean, there is a difference between Sortov and Lambo, and that is Lambo is making Spore Crawlers. So that means that he probably won't lose his main base here to these DTs of Haas.
And yesterday, Has was getting a Stalker first to chase away that Overlord, but now he didn't. So that one Overlord of Lambo scouted everything, saw the exact timing on the Dark Shrine, saw the Robo and the additional gateway in the main base. So Lambo can time this perfectly. He can make sure he has a Spore ready and on location. Yeah, I mean, these Queens can't get too cheeky here.
Yeah, they nearly get that Warp Prism. Haas trying to warp in the main base, just like with Sortov. The DT's getting surrounded. They should be able to get picked up and lifted, but that goes deep here. Oh!
Oh my God, 1 hit point. No, he flew back.
Wow.
Oh my God. Has.
That was so close. 1 hit point Prism gets out of there with payload intact. So the DTs are still alive. It's pretty nice for Haas, but Lambo, same as Sortov, going for a similar follow-up. A big Ling drop into the main base of Haas.
Yeah, that's actually going to be very important here. Like, again, actually, Has doesn't really have the pylon to spot this. He has one slightly above where the Overlord is, so this could do a lot of damage. He's recalling.
Yeah, I mean, Haas remembers how much damage this did. He lost his entire main mineral line. Doesn't quite see this drop in, but he does have his units at home. They look like they're being sent to the natural. Oh, okay, well, doesn't look like they're as home as I thought. They're actually at the 3rd base, but the action is coming from inside the house. The Lings are on the probe line. Haas reacts a lot quicker this time and actually pulls his probes a lot earlier, but he is still taking a bit of damage from these Lings, and it's a pretty inexpensive harassment from Lambo to go for like a little bit of a Ling drop. Like, yeah, it costs minerals and gas to make a drop a Lord, and Lings aren't completely free, although sometimes it feels like it, and getting 4 probes, not the end of the world. Also a follow-up scout is the other cherry on top of the cake here for Lambo.
Yeah, that was super worth it for Lambo here. Killed 4 probes, prevented a lot of mining times. Might be able to get 1 more. Yeah, he does get a 5th probe. And he's going to redo it. Like, you know what? He wasn't ready for the first one. He's not going to be ready for the second one. Same Overlord is going to load up some Lings. He's going to go for some more harassment.
Yeah. Well, he sees the 3rd Nexus getting dropped for Haas as well. Seeing that Haas is trying to macro up, get his upgrades up, charge lots, that sort of thing. Lambo getting Roach upgrades. Haas actually sort of envisioned this. Does seem a little bit more prepared than last time with the Stalker being in position. Also a little bit more of a Sim City. But the probe's stacking up here on the end of that mineral line. No shield battery to keep them alive. Actually, the Link's still doing a little bit more damage. Some hold position there from Lambo. And going into the A move, getting a few more probes. So not the best trade there for Lambo, but again, this is stuff he can afford to do. He's got 59 drones on the other side of the map. He's got, he's parrying ahead on those upgrades. Roaches, Bailey Nest finishing up. So he's kind of getting a very well-rounded composition here against what Haas is doing.
Yeah, he's drawn up nicely to 62 now against the 48 probes of Has. And it feels like this is almost like an old school Zerg versus Protoss. Remember when we used to see, first mass Roach, Ravager, and Banelings, and then later on Hydra and Banelings? In this case, it's just Roaches and Banelings that he's going to mass because he knows that, out of Has, you're very rarely going to see a standard 4th base and, pure tech and macro there. Like, if you did something like what Lambo's doing right now against someone like a, Showtime, it'd be a really bad idea. Because offensively, you wouldn't achieve anything, and defensively, well, I mean, it'd just be taking, Tempest, Carriers, Mothership and stuff. But in this case, Lambo is quite certain that there's going to be a follow-up attack from Has, and it doesn't seem too far-fetched, to be honest, because Has is dropping down some more gateways. He's building up an Archon Immortal army, and I'm pretty sure he's going to want to attack. So Lambo is just kind of getting ready for that right now already.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, when I think about Showtime, like Showtime's the wall, and Haas is like the wall of the booth of Gumiho that fell on him. Slight differences. So Immortal's getting stuck a little bit here in that whole position. Yeah. Well, that, the army of Haas is not terrible, but he's just so down in numbers here versus Lambo, who's just massing units on 63-odd workers. Like
Lings in the 3rd base actually found some damage.
Oh yeah, there we go. A little bit of a run by. Shield batteries though, going to mitigate a lot of that.
Yeah, nice reaction from Has. I think he was getting a... Was that a shield battery? No, he was getting a cannon at first here. Actually, the Lynx got a cancel on that. But yeah, Lambo is... That's so funny. He's so convinced that there is no way Haz is going to take to anything like, you know, Disruptor, Colossus, or just going to sit back, get upgrades and more Immortals. He's like,
he's not wrong.
You're going to go for an attack. Yeah, and I mean, right now, everything points towards it. Nice Contaminates.
Yeah, slowing down Immortal production, making things even easy for Lambo, who is up almost 70 army supply, and he is ready to meet Haz wherever he wants. He doesn't need no creep to win this engagement. Charging up that ramp and doing a lot of damage there to those Archons. And getting a nice Observer pick off there as well. DT harassment from Haz. No Spore Crawlers in the natural, but he does spot the Shimmer there and starts up an Overseer back at home. So he lose some drones, but he can afford to lose a few.
Yeah, for sure. Like, Lambo is setting up a massive attack, though. I think he realizes that his army, you know,
yeah,
as time passes by, he's not going to be as good. He's already maxed out anyway. He's starting to build up a bank. Here we go. He's going to jump on top of this army of Haz. There's not enough force fields to keep everything away.
It doesn't look like it. I mean, Haz has a good number of Immortals, which is always nice, but the Banelings are actually splashing all over them, cracking those hardened shields. The Archon's getting a little bit low. Haz juggling as well as he can here with his War Prism. Still so many units for Lambo, though. He is all over this front line, pushing Haz all the way back into his natural. Oh, man. The Supply does not like Todd. This is a terrible situation for Haz. Lambo even breaking off these Banelings into the third base, killing all the probes. And the natural is next on the menu for the German Zerg. He's going to start taking down production. These gateways not long for this world. Haz goes for force fields, but unfortunately, there is more service area here for the Zerg. Still rolling in those Banelings, still rolling in those Roaches. Haz is holding on, but only just technically. Lambo with a